gonna be like a weird shot today because I have you guys in my dashboard, but welcome back. It's Samara, Renee. I'm getting ready for class. Hopefully our instructor shows up. I just wanted to fill you guys in on some updates. I got some very upsetting news about my car over the weekend, and so I want to talk about it. I'm really upset about it. I'll say like early April last year, if you guys go back and watch some of my old videos, there's a period of time around spring through like July or August that I was talking about my car a lot, about my car having problems and doing all this weird stuff. So I spent a ton of money getting my car fixed, and my check engine light came on and my car was coming up and due for an oil change. So I assumed that's what it was about. And so I took my car in and I was like, okay, I'm going to get my car in for an oil change, get that taken care of, or what I thought it was, which was a engine coil for my car, which that's been an issue before, that all of my engine coils are failing because my car is getting to a certain point in its life, that is coming up. I was just hoping it would be that. I was going to go have them clear the code and then go take my car in to get a smog check, because wouldn't luck have it that I haven't had a smog check, I don't think at all, in this car since I got it, and this is the year that my car needs it. So I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna get all this stuff done, and that way I can go into AAA on the weekend, go get my tags, and be done with it. So I am sitting there. They're like, give us 2 hours to do an oil change, check out while your check engine light's on. And then they came back to me, and she has this laundry list. She came with this long list of things that need to be fixed on my car. One of them being a repair that I had done last year. And I was like, whoa. I was like, I knew about this. And I'm like, I already did this and this, which was a fuel injection. We did that last year, and I don't think you need to do a fuel injection every year. And then it was something called a CVVT. It has to do with your ignition and all this, and exhaust and whatever. So anyways, I'm getting dressed if I didn't mention that for class. But so I had that done last year in April. And I actually, for some reason or another, and I think it's because every time I go into Kia, they're telling me all these things are wrong and it's never consistent. You go to a different person who's checking your car, another technician, and the thing that the person told you before isn't an issue. And they're like, everything looks good. So she comes with this laundry list of stuff, and I said, well, we did the CVVTs last year. I said, we just had that done. We did a fuel injection like last October, and I had all this work done on my car before I went to Utah last year, and my car drove like a dream. After they fixed it, it just still didn't have like the spunk that it used to, but it was, it was doing the job. Anyways, so she came with this laundry list. The fix for getting, evidently, according to this technician, was saying that when I got the CVVTs done, I should have got my tensioners done. And it's just like this whole laundry thing. And he says they actually need to fix it all together, or it's not going to work properly. And they didn't tell me that last time. They're like, okay, well, this is the thing that you absolutely have to have, is you have to have this fixed for the exhaust to go out of your car, or something weird was going to happen, and it was bad for your engine. So I got all that fixed, and a year later, literally like a year and like a couple of days, that failed. And so they're saying that needs to be repaired again. So of course I'm sitting there, and I always pick the black girl, okay, because every time I would get put with these guys, the technicians, they were always trying to basically upsell me on repairs. And I would be like, bro, just pack up the car. I don't need all this stuff done. I'm going to get a second opinion. And so that's what I told her. And I said, you understand why I'm a little irritated, right? I said, you have to understand why I would be upset about this. And she's like, oh no, I get you. And I said, so you understand? And I pulled up my record and I said, this is the date that I had the service done on my car. And then about like, I think like maybe 3 months before that, I had a full 100,000 mile checkup done on my car. Full maintenance job. I got new spark plugs. Like I got a bunch of stuff new on my engine. Like if you open up the hood of my car, mechanic, they're always surprised by how clean everything looks in my hood. You're just like, man, you're like, has anyone ever worked on your car? And I said, yeah, every time that I get my car back from Kia, they do a really good job and they clean up the engine and it looks great. So all of that drama, and they're basically telling me that like if you don't get this fixed, basically like you're gonna ruin your engine and that's your car's done. So I ended up calling my sister and I was like, okay, what does this sound like to you? And she's like, it sounds like you just need to get rid of your car, because by the time I'm done with all the repairs, and I added up all the repairs that I did last year for my car, all totaling, and that includes oil changes and all that sort of thing, and additional maintenance, was like $5,000 last year. My car is not worth $5,000 right now. So I basically was just going off on everybody, and I said, explain this to me. So she gets on the phone, she starts talking to the mechanic, and he's like, look, this is what the cost is. And you know, he didn't even want to do the oil change on my car. He's like, well, there's no point in doing an oil change if this isn't going to be fixed. And I was just like, so basically you're telling me that you took my car for 2 hours, you're going to charge me $200 just to look at my engine, tell me that this needs to be fixed, and if I don't get it fixed and pay the $4,000 you guys want me to fix, you're not going to do my oil change. Like, yeah, he says there's no point. And I said, tell him he needs to do the oil change and then I want my car back. So they did. So he did my oil change. They didn't do all the normal stuff. Like this technician evidently had an attitude or whatever, and normally get my car washed and everything, didn't even do that. So I was just like super done. So I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna just drive the car until it starts having the issues that it used to have, which it would stall. And I usually get fair warning before the car starts doing weird stuff. Right now the car is driving okay, but I'm not gonna like drive it too far. So I'm just driving it to and from work as long as I can. And then I'm gonna figure out the whole car situation. So this weekend I was like looking at other cars, and I was not going to buy another Honda again, but I think based off of what I'm seeing with prices, and Toyotas are great, but they're really way too expensive, especially like even like the older cars, like the 2010s are basically almost about like a 2023 cost of a Honda Civic, and a Honda Civic is just as good as a Toyota Camry. So I'm pretty much thinking I'm gonna go Honda again. It sucks because my car was pretty much paid off. It had like $1,800 to go, and now I have to either pay it off, get the title, and try to get some money from my car, or I'm just gonna have to just eat the $1,800 and then pull out another loan to get the other car. Basically picked out the cars I want. I know how much that I can afford to spend, even though I don't want to spend it, because that money should be going to other things that need to be paid off. And yeah, so pretty upsetting. This is not like the report that I wanted. I actually really love my little Kia, but the amount of problems that I'm having with it over the past year, it just doesn't make sense to keep it, and it doesn't make sense to keep putting extra work into it. So it's kind of sad. So I'm starting to kind of wrap my head around that, and hopefully I can get a decent loan for what I need to get another car. And so my hope is I can make it until like mid-June. If I can push my car to July, it would be even better, and then go get a car. May look this weekend because Memorial Day weekend's in like 2 weeks, and that's when they have the big sales. So I'm hoping I was really trying to get like a 2021 or 2022, and my sister's like, yeah, they don't make cars like they used to, so you might as well just get a newer car. So I'm looking at that. I think probably the newest I'm willing to go is like a 2024, which like where my budget's at. But if I can somehow get it under, I'm trying to spend no more than like $24,000 on a car. So if I can get it not like a newer 2024 or 2025 of low mileage, then I'm willing to do a higher, but we'll see. So it's not the greatest time. We got all the crazy tariff crap, but I don't really have much of an option right now. It's just frustrating because where I am in my life, I feel like I can't get ahead, and I feel like I can't win. And so that's really upsetting me and really frustrating. And so I just been feeling really upset this weekend and kind of feeling down about everything. Didn't do a whole lot this weekend. I just went cold plunging on Sunday. I stayed home most of Saturday, and I'm just, so done. And I'm annoyed. This weekend's just been a week of annoyances, and it's like a little minor thing, but I was just like so annoyed because I have a specific pew I sit at, and the past like 3 weekends, every time I come in, there's a couple at church. They normally sit on the other side, but because there's this one kid that likes to go sit in the back and then they move before church starts, then they move to my side and my spot. So I've been coming to church early and earlier to try to get my spot back, and they keep showing up at they must show up at 4:45 to go get that spot. So anyways, I'm gonna have to, I've decided last weekend, because I was just so annoyed by that, I said I'm just gonna go sit on the other side of the church, because I sit in the back purposely because I want to be left alone, and I just like my space. I don't like being too close to people. I like my space where I can focus and I don't get distracted. So I'm gonna try that next weekend, and we're gonna go see. I haven't sat on the opposite side of church in a long time, so I'm probably due for a change. But yeah, I don't deal with change very well, but we'll see. Doing a quick trip to the store. We're getting some of my favorite chips, which are the CFA green pea tortilla chips. Another good option with no sugar added. Another one of my favorite snacks is just grabbing some pineapple and having them on hand. These are crushed. I don't like crushed. I like the chunks. These are some of my favorite cookies. These taste like snickerdoodles.